Jessica Brace, it is such an honor and a privilege to see you again, to be with you for just a few moments today, to reconnect with you as we talk about when you came into your experience with Theta Healing and share that first of all, what was going on in your life, maybe right before you took the basic DNA Theta Healing class, and what breakthrough that you had since taking that Theta Healing basic DNA practitioner certification. We said maybe about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been 4 years. So 4 years ago was the time I took the class, but I was introduced to it as you had graciously offered me sessions while I was going through a very traumatic experience. My husband of 18 years, father to my children, had passed away from suicide. And it was obviously extremely traumatic. And Sharon was there to help me with Theta. And then when she started teaching the basic DNA, I was like, well, this was really helpful for me. I'd really like to learn this and bring it into my toolbox. And at the time, my toolbox was for video marketing and helping marketing entrepreneurs. And that was 4 years ago. And then I took other classes, but basic DNA was the start of really something beautiful and wonderful. And it opened up a whole new world to me about how to pull in energy and my own energy. And most importantly, it was the beginning of the process and the practice of self-care and self-love, which was something that I was going through and relearning and unlearning ways to do that. And Theta with basic DNA was kind of an accelerator for that for me. And it really kind of put the jets in my rocket, shall we say, which brought me on a journey to many more classes. And, I'm still kind of sitting here saying it in awe of the journey, because at that moment that I said yes to the basic DNA, that moment that I made that decision of just saying, yes, I have this nudge, this feels really right. And I set aside like the money, the finances, the time, all that stuff, and just said, you know what, this really feels right. I'm going to jump in and take this class for a couple of days and see where it leads to. And I followed the nudge, put jet fuel in my rockets, and fast forward to today, 4 years ago, if you said, hey, you were going to take this one class and it was going to change you, and 4 years from now, you're going to forget about the work that you've been doing in video for 24 years, and you're going to be in this space of helping people really release the things that are holding them back in a whole different way through energy healing and breath work, I would have been like, nah, nah. And here I am, about to launch on a nationwide tour this summer with a sponsor and go on this journey. I have a major corporation who just stepped up to sponsor me on a tour, and I'm still pinching myself.
Amazing. Amazing. I am so thrilled for you and so happy for you that really, as you said, put the rocket fuel into your divine path, into coming into alignment with who you really were, your purpose, and giving you the tools in your toolbox to let you grow and evolve on your path that you are on now. So could you tell us, do you remember what specific, if any, techniques you learned in basic DNA and how you've integrated them in your daily practice or your business?
Yeah, so a lot of it was, I was so disconnected from Creator that I was literally getting slammed all the time with 2x4s, nudges everywhere, and I didn't hear it. I didn't listen. I didn't pay attention. So it was for me the slowing down, like the practice of learning to connect to Creator, to listen to Source, to scan my body and see what was going on. And most importantly for me was the asking for the help and the asking for the healing and being willing to receive that. That was, I think, the biggest tools for me that I learned. And it took a while to integrate. It was there in like little bits and chunks and pieces. And then suddenly just all at once, it was like the recipe was complete, and, the final ingredient was put in, and then the cake rose. It was just kind of like that. It was a process.
It was a process, yes. And would you say that that process was taking basic DNA, and then when you were ready, you moved on to the advanced DNA, which we were talking about before we started the interview? You said you just saw a video of that, learning that heart song exercise, how that shifted everything for you as well. So the layers. So that's why
Yeah,
these classes have foundational classes. They have the basic DNA, advanced DNA, dig deeper, and you and the creator.
yeah,
And you spaced them out into the timeline that worked for you. Yes?
yeah. It was definitely a timeline because it was just such deep, deep healing. And I like to use the term rewiring in that sense because it was really like it was reconfiguring and rewiring everything about me. So as each course that I took, it went through, and Heart Song at the time, with that, I had such deep grief about my childhood and the parts of my childhood that weren't really a childhood, and then moving on to a marriage that ended in severe trauma and going through that. And it was so much grief, and Heart Song was at the right time in the right space for that. And that was a tool that my body just absorbed and adored. Like I would just spontaneously go into Heart Song and connect and release. And now that's actually one of my greatest tools in my breath work, is that I integrate the Heart Song tool into my breathwork sessions with great success.
So I love that you have this holistic practice and holistic business, and integrate theta healing tools into the other tools that you use, and expand your own methodology and the ones that you love, which is the beauty of theta healing, right? It can be a standalone process, or it can be integrated into any other holistic work you are doing. And so very helpful. So I'm asking you two quick last questions. One would be, how has learning how to overcome limiting beliefs helped you and your children?
Well, a unique approach. Both of my children have neurodiversities, and they are so supported. And it's really amazing because they're kids. They're little. They're 7 and 13. Well, not so little or 13 anymore.
But they were when you started theta healing, right? They
Yeah,
were,
they
yeah.
were when I started, but the integration that they have with, you'll hear them talking to each other and it'd be like, is that what your intuition is telling you? Did you slow down and tap in? Or, hey, you need to pause and take a breath. Or, you're hearing things like that. Or it's like, is that really, like, the question is that what, or just this morning, my littlest one was like, the school bus stopped in front of us and we had to stop. And he's like, I hate school buses. And my other son was like, is that really what you believe? Do you really hate all school buses? So they're like pulling out and like questioning each other. They're digging deeper on each other innately. And that's amazing. That's such an amazing gift.
Yeah, it's a beautiful gift you have given your children, for sure. Because as they say, children learn not by what we say, by what we do. So they see you living the work, and they then pick it up and live it for themselves as well. And then clearing the genetic beliefs helps them automatically. So they don't have to do a lot of the work that you've done, which is awesome, right? We don't
That
want our kids to
genetic,
repeat our lessons.
yeah, and that genetic component, very, very traumatic growing up. And just recently, through my family, it was like through the work that I did, I can see massive, I mean, massive change. I just went through a deep, deep mother wound healing and didn't speak with my mom for a while as I was integrating in my own work. And, what I never I thought was impossible and was never going to happen, and I had to make peace with that. Her and I actually came together and made peace, like on an intelligent, loving, caring, real conversation, which is something I've never had in 48 years with my mom. I had come to think that maybe she wasn't capable of that, but I believe in all of my heart that the genetic healing that I did through this journey helped shift my mom so that she was capable to have that conversation. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's part of my why, right? That
Yeah.
we come in here with some genetic wounds, and through this process of theta healing that we learn in basic DNA, we can start healing that in layers. And it's just amazing how it automatically helps change it for them, and changes, improves the relationships with the generations behind us and the generations in front of us. So, and then ourselves, like you
Yeah.
said. So thank you for sharing that. And the last question would be, what advice would you give to someone who is considering taking basic DNA practitioner certification?
If you're considering it and you've watched this video this far, then that's a nudge. And it really is. And if you've gotten this far and you're still considering it, really sit and look at what your why nots are. Like the whole, like, is it money? Is it time? Is it I'm not sure? Because you're showing up here for a reason. Because something's drawn you to it. Follow that nudge. Like really follow it through and feel into it with your heart, because this kind of stuff, it completely changes your life.
Thank you so much, Jess.
Yeah, of
I
course.
appreciate you. And you just keep doing you. And I'm excited for the work that you're moving on to do and how you're bringing theta healing techniques and tools with you. So thank you for this.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you for the work that you do. You have been persevered, relentless through the years in standing on your platform and saying this can help change lives. Here I am. I mean, you have been a lighthouse for so many.
Thank you. I received that, and I'm excited because it's been 4 years since I've been able to teach this basic DNA class in person, and I'm doing it again.
Yes.
4 years to the almost to the day, April 21st through 23rd, here in Tequesta, Florida, at Agape Healing Arts. So wherever you are, you can come to Florida and join us, because it's an
Yes.
opportunity you don't want to miss. Thanks, Jess.
Most welcome.